France and Australia, India's key partners in the Indo-Pacific region, have hinted at the arriving trilateral involving New Delhi to stabilize the Indian Ocean region amid the worries over China's aggressive posturing. This occurred on Friday during the new Australian Prime Minister visit to the Paris, according to the Indian news media Economic Times of India. The trilateral had been put on a back burner earlier this year after France developed cold feet following Australia's decision to scrap the submarine deal and launch the Australia, UK and US to acquire nuclear-powered submarine with the US and the UK assistance. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese welcomed what we call the new start in the relationship with France as he met the President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Friday. Acknowledging the difficult times, Macron emphasized the two countries' strategic partnership, the shared war history in Europe, and their joint interest in the stability in the Pacific region. According to the Indian news media Economic Times of India, a fissure had developed between the allies France and Australia after the previous Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison secretly negotiated to buy US-designed submarines and drop an Australian $50 billion submarine contract signed with France in 2016. According to the joint statement issued on Friday, following the talks between the leaders of Australia and France, the statement quoted, "Australia and France will shape a new defense relationship and strengthen our collaboration and exchange on the shared security interests, including through operational engagement and intelligence sharing. We are determined to be active in the regional fora and to enhance the security cooperation with Pacific countries, in particular on the maritime surveillance with the regional agencies and in the Indian Ocean, including our partnership with India." The statement also said we will support each other's deployments and conduct more joint maritime activities in support of the rule-based global order. We will also explore initiatives to deepen and facilitate better reciprocal access to our defense facilities. This will build on our long-established mutual logistics support agreement. Australia welcomed the French Indo-Pacific strategy. The joint statement also noted Australia and France are nations of both the Pacific and the Indian Ocean. As neighbors, we share a long history of cooperation in the region, including the French territories. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and please support us by clicking the thanks button below our video. Recently, the Indian Ministry of Defense approved the design and development of a light battle tank for the private sector. Under the Make 1 category, the industry will undertake the project and can be funded by the Government of India in a stock departure from the direct purchase route. According to Aviation Times, the Indian foreign defense contractor with ties with the Indian military had declared their intent to offer a tank to meet the Army's needs. As a result, a deal between a local and international defense contractor for collaboration on the design and development of the tank could be struck shortly. The need for a light battle tank was realized at the height of the standoff between the Chinese and the Indian Army in Ladakh that began in May 2020, where India had to move moreover heavy T-72 tanks and T-90 tanks. Although they are effective against all Chinese tanks and crewed by the experienced and well-trained Indian cavalry, they still cause movement and logistical issues in the high-altitude air and inhospitable terrain at 17,500 feet. The treacherous mountain passes made transport a pain, adding to the logistical strain of maintaining 50,000 troops. Things got worse in the winter of 2020 when the Indian Army had to sustain the high posture through the cold for the first time in 4 decades. Troops from both armies were left forward positions since the line of actual control is much calmer than the line of control with Pakistan. But the rude shock came from the People's Liberation Army that said the ZTQ-15 light tanks that effortlessly zipped through the Tibet and Xinjiang plains, but also looked too light, nimble and vulnerable to the heavy main guns above 105 mm. Nevertheless, Indian Army planners realized it was a force multiplier and could serve devastating impact on infantry position if protected well by the infantry and close air support. Moreover, China's logistical advantage owing to extensive border infrastructure coming deep from within Tibet and Xinjiang These operational difficulties associated using heavy battle tanks in the mountain warfare have pushed the India's light tank program. Depending on the armor production configuration, the Chinese Type 15 tank weighs around 33 to 36 tons and is highly mobile and rapidly deployable in jungles, mountains, and river terrains. Interestingly, it was primarily designed for reconnaissance and infantry support missions. While India hunting for the light combat tanks, India's DRDO and Indian Army successfully tested an indigenously developed anti-tank guided missile at KK range at Maharashtra state of India on Tuesday, the Defense Minister said in a statement. The anti-tank guided missile or the ADGM was successfully test-fired from the Arjun battle tank, said the ministry. According to the Indian news media Economic Times of India and in the Defense Ministry statement, it was said that the ADGM hit the bullseye with a textbook precision and successfully defeated the target at the minimum ranges. The telemetry system recorded the satisfactory flight performance of a missile. Engaging the target at lower range is a challenge due to the dimensional constraints of the tank-launched ADGMs, which has been successfully accomplished by the ADGM for the Arjun tank of Indian Army. With the trial, the ADGM capability to engage targets from minimum to maximum range has been established. Earlier, the trials have been successful for maximum range. The Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has congratulated the DRDO and the Indian Army for the successful trial of the ADGM. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and please support us by clicking the thanks button below our video. More than a month into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Russia cannot provide air superiority over the Ukraine for its troops, and its military forces had heavy losses till now. Now Ukraine has started to gain more grounds in the north around Kyiv and east and the south of the Ukraine too. But it wasn't supposed to happen this way for Russia. Before Russia invaded Ukraine on 24th February, military analysts expected a much larger Russian air force to overwhelm Ukraine and quickly grab air superiority, defined by the NATO as being able to conduct operations without prohibitive interference from the opposing force. Instead, an intelligence update from the UK at the start of the war said that Ukraine air defenses appear to have enjoyed considerable success against Russia's modern combat aircraft. Without air superiority, planes must fly lower to avoid surface-to-air missile defense systems. This gives them the less situational awareness and also makes them vulnerable to portable missiles known as the manpads, like the Stinger Star-Sticks manpads, which Western countries have been sending to Ukraine by thousands.